found a video here. I just want to watch it real quick with you guys. The dumbest criminals of all time.
In 2009, Matthew McNally and Joey Miller robbed a home in Iowa using masks drawn onto their faces with permanent black marker. Whilst on the run, the two discovered that permanent black marker doesn't rub off easily, leading to their simple arrest and embarrassingly stupid mugshots. However, these two still look like geniuses in comparison to some of the other idiots we'll be talking about as we discuss the stupidest criminals of all time.
The stupidest criminals of all time. I love these type of videos. We laugh at these for the most part.
Example, MacArthur Wheeler, who robbed two banks in broad daylight as he thought that pouring lemon juice on his face would make him invisible to cameras. When shown the bank surveillance footage, Wheeler refused to believe that he was visible, stating to officers, "But I wore the juice," believing...
Could you imagine that? Okay, you think by some miracle that lemon juice cannot be seen by cameras. That's probably why his eyes were all squinted. Let's go look at his eyes. Look, he's sitting there like, he got this shit in his eyes. He fucked up. And he still got caught.
Wheeler refused to believe that he was visible, stating to officers, "But I wore the juice," believing that as long as he didn't come near a heat source, he should have been completely invisible. Police concluded that Wheeler was not crazy or on drugs, just incredibly mistaken, with the...
This guy was watching, what is that movie? And it's like a treasure movie. I don't know. Maybe you guys could tell me in the chat. But they just put some lemon on it, right? Makes the image come up. I think this is where he got this idea. A little common sense will get you a long way.
Lemon juice mistake eventually costing Wheeler a 24.5-year prison sentence. However, if we're on the topic of terrible disguises, then we can't go past Dennis Hawkins, whose disguise as an old lady...
That's scary. Look at that hairdo. What is this? Let's see.
He wasn't much better. His sweater accompanied fake boobs, a full beard, and fittingly clown pants, with this insanely recognizable outfit helping police...
No, he didn't do this, or did he? He didn't do this, right? I mean, it don't match, dude. You don't fit in. The disguise did nothing.
And fittingly clown pants, with this insanely recognizable outfit helping police to catch Hawkins only an hour after the robbery. The police chief for the area stated...
Why would you go? You're just a walking target, man. I mean, your description by itself is going to get you caught. The public, the general public, not out there dressed like this. You're a standout, dude.
Insanely recognizable outfit helping police to catch Hawkins only an hour after the robbery. The police chief for the area stated, "He would get my nomination for dumbest criminal, I think. You still have his black facial hair with a blondish wig. Definitely different."
Yeah, it doesn't match. I mean, I'd be like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing? What are you up to?" You know? Might get an answer.
Different is also a good way to describe Patrick McGuire's disguise, who robbed an Illinois convenience store while covering his face with a clear plastic bag. He was only able to obtain $60...
I don't know how this guy did not get away with it. I mean, I couldn't tell who he was. Could you guys?
Covering his face with a...
There we go. There we go, guys. Don't rob stores with plastic clear bags on your face. You don't do that at all. It's against the law. It's not okay. No. But this guy right here, rocket scientist.
Clear plastic bag. He was only able to obtain $60 from the robbery. However, due to his extensive criminal history, he was sentenced...
He only got $60 from the robbery. Okay. 188 months in prison. And for $60, he might evade his words. $60, he's probably like, I fucked up, didn't I? 188 months with supervised release after for 3 years. Damn, that's tough. You big old dummy.
to 15 years in prison for the stunt, meaning that he had to spend 1 year in prison for every $4 stolen from the store.
1 year prison for every $4 he stole. $4 a year. That's what it costed him.
Talk about a bad return.
Yeah.
Equally bad was Paul Sinclair's, who attempted to rob a bank in Florida by using his fingers curled up into a gun shape. The quote-unquote weapon was so
Did it work?
non-threatening that the
Did it
bank teller
work?
gave him only $120, after which he'd flee on
$120.
foot before being
He made $120. That's a success, boys.
caught by police only 10 minutes later. Then there was James Blankenship, who thought that robbery was legal as long as you did it at a certain time of day. Back in
long as you do it at a
2013,
certain
Blankenship
time.
broke into his own mother's home, after which the police were
His
called,
own
who would take to their
mom's
Facebook
house.
page later that day to
You know, this stuff pisses me off. Without that lady, you wouldn't be here, sir. Get out of her house. You grown-ass man-child. Taking advantage of people. Loser.
explain what had happened. He fled the scene upon seeing his mother. The male was located under the house hiding in a crawl space. When advised of his charges, he made the statement, "I thought you could only be charged with burglary if you break in during the night time."
No.
Blankenship was given 180
No.
days in
You can't just go breaking into people's houses. That's not allowed. Sorry.
jail and ordered to pay a $100 fine. Yet this wasn't the only time when a person was dumb enough to think that a law didn't apply to them. Because when Reuben Pavin was caught stealing from a charity thrift shop in New Hampshire, it stated that he thought everything was free because of the name of the business.
He stated he thought everything was free because of the name of the business. Yeah, no, sir. I think you're a liar, making stories up. Get out of people's houses. No. Get out now.
Finders keepers. The sign did say finders keepers, so I took that DVD player, took it home, Pavin told the local TV station. A couple of weeks later, the stuff is still there on the porch, so I'm thinking to myself, finders keepers. They probably just put stuff out there for people to
Finders keepers. That's so elementary, isn't it? Finders keepers. I found it. It's mine.
take. The business responded via Facebook stating, "This man who was caught on video is saying it is all a misunderstanding. He thought everything at our store was free. Is that really the best defense he could come up with?" After which
That's
Pavin reportedly
awful.
turned in the stolen goods
That's
to
a bad
police,
defense.
holding that he's not a
Bad.
bad person or a bad dad, and is rather just unbelievably stupid. But was he as
That
dumb
might
as
be.
Derek Mosley, who in 2013 attempted to rob a store named Discount Gun Sales?
You guys thinking what I'm thinking? This guy was dumb if he went into this. You know, they tell you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Well, he bought a gunfight to a gunfight.
Sales by using a baseball bat.
Oh, even better. He took a baseball fight to a gunfight. I thought this guy had at least some sense. I'm gonna go into this gun shop. I plan on taking guns. They're gonna be mine. Mine. With the baseball bat.
When Mosley allegedly barged into Discount Gun Sales and smashed the display counter with his baseball bat, the store manager simply pulled out his own personal firearm
course
and
he
pointed
did.
it straight at the would-be robber, holding Mosley in the store until he was arrested and charged with first-degree robbery. A similar story then came out of Texas in July 2000.
Don't do this, people. Don't try to rob gun stores. Don't try to rob anything. But don't be the dummy that takes a bat. Okay, just don't rob anybody. Just don't be the dummy with the bat.
A similar story then came out of Texas in July 2022 when a gun store was robbed at knife point, although this tale instead ended in a body
I'm not surprised. You know, if this guy had a knife, he's got a weapon. He's got a weapon. If he pokes some holes in somebody, it's gonna take a life. Sucks that it had to be his. But, you know, you do stupid things, you win stupid prizes. And that's kind of how this went. It sucks, but, you know, it's a shame that we lost a life anyways. At all. But, with all the circumstances in play, this guy went in to cause harm. Well, maybe not cause harm, but he went in with a weapon. And if somebody got in his way, who's to say he wouldn't have hurt somebody? And this man defended himself. I don't know. I haven't seen the video, but, I'm just saying.
Bag as the robber was fatally shot by the store owner as he tried to exit with his loot.
Yeah,
but what
that'll do
happens
it.
when you accidentally call 911 whilst committing a crime? Pocket dialing the police is probably a fairly common occurrence. However, for Carson Reinhardt and Nathan Teklemariam, it happened at the most unfortunate moment, specifically while they were breaking into a car. The alert dispatcher soon realized that the call was an accidental one, and moreover that the guys on the other end might be up to no good. For the next 35 minutes, the dispatcher stayed on the line, listening and gathering information, as Teklemariam and Reinhardt did the following. Discovered a car that they thought they could burglarize, discussed how to break into the car, allegedly broke into the car, exclaimed in delight over finding narcotics in the car, became confused as to how and why a police car was following them, and reacted in disbelief when the arresting officer revealed that they'd been on the line to 911 the entire time. Scott Simon found himself in a similar situation.
Can you imagine him pulled over and your phone's on a phone call to 911? Huh. Haven't checked my phone in 20 minutes. Why is there a cop following me? 911, 20 minutes, something seconds. Fuck. Dang. This is why we don't do crime.
And reacted in disbelief when the arresting officer revealed that they'd been on the line to 911 the entire time.
This would be funny to interact with. I don't know. It's kind of funny. You gotta be so dumb to be on the line with 911. It's just crazy, man. I mean, how long did it take this guy to check his phone? I know every now and again I gotta pick mine up, make sure, see what the time, whatever it is. Who knows how long this guy was on the phone with 911. And this guy's just driving around. Why is there a cop following me? You fucked up. That's what that's about.
Time. Scott Simon found himself in a similar situation, although under much more severe circumstances. Whilst on trial for murder in 2015, Scott was successfully sentenced to life in prison, as 2 years prior he'd pocket dialed the police while admitting to a friend that he was the one who committed the crime.
Dang.
He had no idea he called 911, a sheriff's office spokeswoman told the Miami Herald. He basically told on himself, as did Albert Bailey, although in a much stupider way. Bailey had planned on robbing a bank in Fairfield, Connecticut, although rather than exercising the element of surprise, he'd call the bank prior to the robbery stating, "I want $100,000 in large bills and no die packs. I'll be sending someone
This guy had a plan.
into the bank to get the money. Don't call the police, we are monitoring the police scam."
Oh man, this guy's big brain. Big brain Steve over here. What are you doing, dude?
Prior to making this phone call, Bailey had already served 7 years in prison for a previous bank robbery. However, this new plan was equally ineffective, as after arriving at the bank to collect his cash, Bailey was locked inside, arrested, and sentenced to another 9 years in prison.
Yeah, dude. What, you think they're not gonna call fucking the local police station and talk to somebody? They're not gonna air that for you, even if you do have a scanner, dude. Like, no. Come on in, man. We got your 100,000. We got your 100K right here. Right here waiting for you. And then when he shows up, you know how that goes.
Though if he wanted to avoid this time behind bars, he could have had a chat with Tito and Amanda Watts, who got arrested in Florida for selling tickets to enter heaven at a price of $100. Tito Watts said in his police statement, "I don't care.
I need me one of those. Ticket to heaven. One admit. Two admit right here. This guy's got it figured out right here.
In Florida for selling tickets to enter heaven at a price of $100. Tito Watts said in his police statement, "I don't care what the police say. The tickets are solid gold."
Considering, I don't know. I doubt they're solid gold. I did not mean that. Considering if it was real, I mean, that's pretty cheap. It's a pretty good deal. $100. You get to go to heaven. I don't know about you guys. Sounds cheap to me. Maybe a scam.
And it was Jesus who gave them to me behind the KFC and said to sell them so I could get me some money to go to outer space. You should arrest Jesus because he's the one who gave me the golden tickets and said to sell them. I'm willing to wear a wire and set Jesus up.
What? What? This man's speaking to Jesus. He knows Jesus personally. He met this Jesus behind the KFC. Ran into each other. Jesus and this man. They ran into each other. You got Jesus back there. Hey, I need you to sell these 2 Coke bars for $100 each. This will get you out to outer space. You're high. Stop smoking what you're smoking. You're not talking to Jesus. If it sounds crazy, it's probably crazy. Okay.
The couple had apparently earned over $10,000 from the stunt, meaning that they were able to find people even dumber than them, one of which might have been Ruben Zarate. While attempting to rob a muffler shop in 2008, Zarate was told that the shop could...
You know, that's going around lately quite a bit. They're cutting mufflers off everything around where I live. Well, mostly catalytic converters, a bunch of thieves everywhere.
2008, Zarate was told that the shop couldn't access the money safe without their manager, who didn't begin his shift until later that afternoon. Instead of bailing on the robbery, Zarate instead gave them his phone number, asking them to give him a ring the next time the manager was in. They did so later that afternoon, although after returning to the store, Zarate received no money and was instead met by police and charged with aggravated robbery. Then there was the man who gave the people he was robbing something even stupider. The unnamed robber walked into a London bank carrying a gun and a bag, which he'd take to the front desk before demanding £700,000 in cash from the bank worker. But after making his demands, the crook handed over his gun to the cashier instead of...
Oops. Oh man. Here you go. You fucked up. Oh, tables turned, didn't they? Get out. I got your gun. Go.
The bag. Investigating authorities stated, the guess is that he is very inexperienced and panicked when he approached the cashier, handing over his gun instead of a bag by mistake. But it was Trevor Jones who left an even more damning piece of evidence at his crime scene. After breaking into a house in Atlanta, Jones took a moment to check his Facebook on the owner's computer before leaving.
I know a few people that probably would do this. Yeah. I mean, dumb, but yeah. I know some people that would do this. Grandma's on Farmville. Just kidding, but I do know some people I think would do this. They log in and get themselves caught
without logging out. Less than 3 years later, a similar story entered news headlines, reading, a 26-year-old Minnesota man has been tracked down by police after leaving his Facebook profile logged in at a house he allegedly robbed, although this story has a much funnier ending. The homeowner decided to message the robber via his Facebook, stating, "You left a few things at my house last night, how can I get them back to you?" which was followed by the robber agreeing to come back to the home so he could collect the stuff he forgot. However, the robber didn't get any of his items back. And was instead arrested while still wearing a watch that he'd stolen from the night before. While both of these idiots used social media poorly, at least they didn't brag about the robbery in a YouTube video, as is what happened in the bizarre case of Hannah Sabata. In 2012,
where was that? That guy said it so fucking...
robbery in a YouTube video, as is what happened in the bizarre case of Hannah Sabata. In 2012, at the age of 19, Sabata stole $6,000 from a bank in Nebraska, and while almost anybody else would have simply kept quiet, Hannah instead took to her YouTube channel Jelly Beanie to upload a video titled Chick Bank Robber, in which she'd straight up admit to having just committed a robbery. She'd then discuss her entire methodology for the crime, while showing the money and the amount that had been stolen.
There you go. Put it on the internet. That this is a big problem. This is not a big problem, I guess. People post everything. That's the problem. People post it. Actually, I mean, you just committed a crime. You did not think that somebody was going to say something.
Stolen, before concluding the video by describing the vehicle she had used and that it had its license plates removed. This information eventually resulted in Hannah
She looks crazy. Look at her hair. Oh, wow. She enjoyed every second of this. Look at that smile.
Sabata's arrest and sentencing of 10 to 20 years prison, done so in a public courtroom filled to maximum capacity with people who had seen the video. Just 2 years prior to this, 21-year-old Frank Singleton was being released from Palm Beach County Jail, having just served time for a trespassing charge. The only issue was he didn't have a car to leave the jail, so he decided to steal one from the visitors' parking lot, yet the car he decided to steal was a manual and he could only drive auto.
I've thought about this. I think that a lot of people would have the same problem that this man has. I really do. Anything anymore is automatic. A lot of people don't know how to drive them anymore. It's kind of insane. I'd be okay. I'd be fine. A shift. Shift clutch, gas brake. I know how to do it. Some other people be stuck in the parking lots like idiots.
Singleton sat in the car looking like an idiot before being arrested and sentenced to a further 6 years in prison, telling deputies that he tried to take the car because he didn't feel like walking to his home about 6 miles away. And while you may be sat here thinking that these criminals can't get any dumber, it's time to introduce 53-year-old Michael Anthony Fuller. While it's common knowledge that the US banknote doesn't go any higher than $100, Fuller had the genius idea to create a counterfeit $1 million note before trying to use it at his local Walmart. He loaded this cart with a vacuum cleaner, a microwave, and various other items totaling $472 before handing the million.
This is the $1 million bill right here. Yeah, like they probably don't even have enough money in their registers to give to you, dude. That you're the problem. When people tell you we don't do cash back, it's because of this guy.
$1 note to the cashier, expecting $999,528 in change. Needless to say, Walmart wasn't able to facilitate this, and instead store staff called police. Fuller was later charged with attempting to obtain property by false pretense and uttering a forged instrument.
This video is awesome. Gotta credit Sunny V2 on his channel. Check this video out. Awesome content that he makes. Tell me what you guys think of this, these dummies in here. Tell me if you know of any dumb criminals, Tell me the stories. Send them to me. I'll check them out. Anyways, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.